Hi, my name is Shang Vang, and I will be discussing a little bit about the background of our topic of type 2 diabetes in the college population. It is anticipated that a little bit over 33% of Americans born in the year 2000 will have diabetes in their lifetime. With diabetes comes many health complications. It includes, but is not limited to, heart disease, blindness, kidney disease, high blood pressure, and even premature death. It is a progressive disease that destroys the pancreas and the liver. That destruction will result in higher blood sugar in the body, and that will impair vital organs, muscles, and even the nervous system. Obesity and type 2 diabetes are rapidly increasing within the young adult population. Research demonstrates that adults with type 2 diabetes are 14 times more likely to suffer from a heart attack and 30 times more likely to suffer from a stroke than a healthy individual with no diabetes. In California, it is estimated that 1/3 of the young adult population are at risk of developing diabetes in their lifetime. A study done by UCLA also found that 33% of the young adult population in California are pre-diabetic. Diabetes is costing taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. In 2012, it was estimated that $245 billion was going towards the cost of diabetes alone. Although the cause of diabetes is still unclear, there are many risk factors associated with diabetes. Obesity and the family history of diabetes are among the most significant factors. A study revealed that a steady diet of healthy foods, an active lifestyle, and behavior modification can significantly improve and even prevent diabetes in individuals.
Contributing to, it is important to understand the many factors that can contribute to a college student and their eating habits. Characteristics that can contribute to a person's ability to form a healthy eating habit depends on how the college student may prep their food, the amount of activity that they may partake in, and what can be done to better their lives now, which will then have a healthier benefit later down the road. In addition, college age women are seen to have a higher chance of being overweight and are seen to be stress eaters as they deal with daily problems and the stress of college life. Finally, a last component that influences the college population to purchase unhealthy food choices would be the lack of options that most college campuses face. Here at Fresno State, the most common form of food choices that our students have would be Subway, Panda, and Robertitos, which is a Mexican restaurant, and I'm sure all of those have high caloric intakes. Likewise, in a study conducted by Southern Illinois University, students who were a part of the Student Health Center challenged the college and the local community to enforce a healthier food choice system for the college students. One of the most common reasons why college population students are gaining weight and who are at risk of developing type 2 diabetes would be the lack of a home cooked meal. When you cook a home cooked meal, you're able to see what really goes into your food. College students often have the misconception of what qualifies as a healthy diet. Consumptions of fruits and vegetables are highly encouraged, but are often pushed aside because they do not satisfy the taste and are sometimes pricey, depending on if they are in season or depending on the availability of the product. In addition, because college students are often left to choose unhealthy food options, the repercussions are often consisting of lower energy because they are consuming way too many calories, which then does not motivate them to get off the couch or get up from a nap and get out and go exercise. In contrast, one way that can influence a change behavior within the college age population would be to enforce a stricter food labeling system. When college students are able to see that apple, which represents, healthy on a food staple, they are really thinking about what they're really putting into their bodies and whether or not that they should eat that or should eat this instead.
During the first year of college, about 70% of young adults gain weight. Drastically, more than 40% of college students exercise less than 1 day a week. Also, only 10% of college students eat 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Another way type 2 diabetes could be acquired is through heredity. Not eating a well-balanced meal, exercising regularly, and heredity contribute to type 2 diabetes. College students could change two of the factors. They are eating 5 fruits and vegetables a day and exercising. Poor nutrition, sedentary lifestyle, and heredity perform a critical role in college students to procure type 2 diabetes. Convincing college students to consume more fruits and vegetables and to exercise is not simple because most college students believe they are not susceptible to the disease. Type 2 diabetes is not common among young adults and relatively easy for young adults to avoid if they follow adequate preventive measures. About 90% of young adults could put an end to type 2 diabetes. Young adults could avoid the high cost of medical expenses if they properly take care of their health. Type 2 diabetes could be prevented by more than 50% by exercising regularly and eating dietary foods. Young adults have the opportunity to avoid type 2 diabetes by regularly exercising and eating more fruits and vegetables.
For this study, we decided to use the observation method to see if there's any correlation in between a student's diet and the risk for having diabetes. Observation is gathering data by watching behavior changes or events or physical characteristics in its natural setting. In this case, we were going to watch students eat on campus. For example, our group wanted to make a set time to go and see what students were eating on a daily basis. So we decided to make a week worth of studies. And what we did was we decided to designate the time frame from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, which is the natural lunch hours of, I believe, our school. And so what we decided to do was designate the 3 areas within the USU for us to go observe. So the first area is the patio area right outside of the USU. The second area is the area in front of the cash registers where they can buy Panda Express, Subway, or Robertitos. And then the third area is the area in front of the microwaves, the pavilion, and that is where they can use the microwaves to heat up their leftover foods or home cooked meals, which are more likely to be healthier than the fast food that they buy. So with this, we were able to record what they were eating and basically how big were their portions and stuff like that.
We decided to observe students on Fresno State campus to see if there was any correlation of their diet and risks of diabetes. We felt that observing students would be the best way for us to collect data. Our method was having each person in our group observe the food court, patio, and pavilion at the USU during lunch hours. Each of us took a half-hour gap during the same days within the average week to record our findings. Our group came up with the grid that had 8 different columns. 2 columns for gender, male or female, 2 columns dictating whether the students purchased food or no food, 2 columns stating whether the food was packaged or brought from home or fast food, and lastly 2 columns determining if the portions were big or small. We each had a time slot and area that we were to sit and observe at with this grid. At the food court, group members stood at the register and tallied who purchased fast food, snacks, or drinks only, and whether the portions were big or small. For example, did the student purchase a 6-inch sub, which is a small portion, from Subway, or did he or she purchase a foot-long, big portion? At the USU patio, we were able to observe other students who may have not purchased food from the food court, but rather from any other places available to the student, whether it be from a different fast food place or from home, and there we determined if it was fast food or packaged food, small or big portions. At the pavilion, we sat a few feet from the microwave section to determine what gender was more likely to bring packed lunch from home. We found that observing was the easiest method to use because it was going to give us a better idea of the choices that college students make when it comes to their eating habits. Surveys were not really an option because we determined that students may not be as comfortable when answering questions about their eating habits, but when they are not aware that they're being observed, they are more likely to make the choices they would make on a regular basis.
So in our observation, we watched a total of 280 of both female and male students, 100 of them being in the patio area, 100 of them being in the microwave area, and 80 of them being in the register area. So we found that in the patio area, 54% of both female and male students were seen with fast food and large portions. Only 15% of of students were seen with no fast food and normal sized and nutritional sized. In the microwave area, we found 64% of students with not fast food, but they were still large portions. And when we're talking about portion size, it has increased in our country over the years. So when we're talking about diabetes, it's essential when we're managing glucose levels. Also, in the register area, we found that 40% of all students were seen buying fast food with large portions, and then 15% were seen purchasing still fast food but with smaller size portions. Over the half of the 80 that were seen in the register area, more than half of them were consuming with little to no nutrition. We also found that there was no time correlation within the selected intervals. There was a variety of both fast food and packaged from home or seemingly more nutritional, and mix of both big and small sizes. So as you can see in the patio area, the biggest intake was fast food in big portion, with females with 35 and then males with 19. The second was fast food in small portions, with females with 25 and males with 6. So in the microwave area, the greatest food intake was packaged in big portion, with females with 38 people and males with 26. The second was packaged in small portion, with 20 females and 5 males. In the USC register area, 12 male and 20 female intook fast food with big portions, following 7 male and 5 female intaking fast food with smaller portions.
Type 2 diabetes is a serious thing in the United States of America, and what we were able to notice through all the research me and my group did, or my group and I did, was that it's more of the individual's lifestyle, their eating habits, their socioeconomic status that, it plays a huge role in, determining whether a person is at a high risk or a low risk or no risk at all. Basically, if you eat right, you exercise, you're at a lower risk for type 2 diabetes. In the survey we conducted, it was more of we conducted a survey on Fresno State campus. It was more of the environmental factors. There's fast food places all around the campus, so you're more susceptible of having a high risk, or you're more susceptible of getting type 2 diabetes, and you're more susceptible of getting those poor eating habits, because it's just all around you. It's more importantly, ultimately, really comes down to the lifestyle choices an individual makes, and then it's their socioeconomic status as well. It plays a huge role in whether a person has a high risk or a low risk of type 2 diabetes.